Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another cooking video. Today I'm going to show you how I make ravioli. Now, the beauty of making your own ravioli is that you can put in whatever filling that you want. Today I've chosen to use diced chorizo sausage with tomato and mascarpone. So that will be the filling for the ravioli, and for the sauce I'm going to use roasted vegetables put through a blender and seasoned. Now here's a list of the ingredients that you'll need. I've broken it down to the pasta, the filling and the roast vegetable sauce. All pretty straightforward, but the only thing you need to be aware of is the flour. I've used a 00 grade pasta and pizza flour, and that would be ideal for making pasta. And here are all the ingredients photographed together. This is everything you'll need to actually put the dish together. So let's see how we do it. You can't beat fresh pasta. Okay, so we're going to make a start with the filling that goes inside the ravioli, which will be chorizo diced with tomato and mascarpone cheese. So we need to chop up about 150 grams of chorizo sausage, and then we're going to dice it in a blender. So that's a tomato and mascarpone cheese sauce, 150 grams of that. Just weigh it out. Just to help the blender, we're going to cut the sausage into smaller pieces. Chorizo is actually quite a tough sausage, and the blender, if you put large chunks of sausage in, would struggle. Well, mine would anyway. So we're going to cut them into little bits, put them in the blender, and then add the sauce. You can see the dog in the background wondering what's going on. That's Nala. Right, we want to add a bit of olive oil. This just helps the mixture run over the blades in the blender. Start chopping it up. Initially I just set it to pulse, so this sort of starts breaking down the bigger lumps of sausage, and then after that we will sort of put it in chopping puree mode. We're going to add a bit of water here just to help it along. We're going to put the whole thing on the hob in a pot after this, and we'll be able to boil the water off and thicken the sauce. But the water will just help the cutting process in the blender. Okay, so we're now just scraping everything from the blender into a saucepan. What we're going to do is put it on a hob, get rid of some of the water, reduce it, and this will also render some of the fat out of the chorizo sausage. Just put it on a medium heat and keep an eye on it, stir it. We want to thicken it up quite nicely because it makes it a lot easier to actually put in the ravioli. So it turns it more into a paste. So your chorizo is nice and cooked as well. So we're just going to put this into a little container for now until we need it. We've got to make the pastry yet, or pasta. We just want to pop the lid on it and set it to one side. So now we're going to make the roast vegetable sauce that the ravioli will go into. So we've got 2 peeled red onions here, which we want to quarter. When you're roasting vegetables, you need to sort of keep an eye on the size of the pieces of vegetable depending on how quickly they cook. Onion doesn't take long to cook. This is a courgette, which we're just going to chop into 3 pieces. That cooks quite easily. So we want about 4 chunks of butternut squash. This is a more tough vegetable, so we'll probably make the chunks a bit smaller so it cooks down easily, because all the vegetables will be cooked at the same time at the same temperature. So you need butternut squash to be slightly smaller. We've got 1 bell pepper here, or capsicum. Just take all the seeds out and quarter it. And 2 tomatoes, we just cut those in half. They're very soft vegetables. After you've roasted this, you'll blend it and then put it through a strainer, so any skin, seeds, stuff like that will be got rid of. Right, you want to put 5 peeled cloves of garlic on the tray, keep them whole. And we want to sprinkle some rosemary leaves over the top, fresh rosemary. And then you just want salt and pepper to season it. And some olive oil as well. Just put a splash of olive oil on. Whilst you're doing this, you will be preheating your oven to 190. That's a fan-assisted oven. And once you've completed preparing the tray of vegetables, you just want to pop them in to the preheated oven for 45 minutes at 190. Right, now it's time to make the pasta. So you've got to make the dough up first. So you want to sift 300 grams of flour into the bowl. You want to break 3 eggs into another bowl, and then you'll whisk them up. Okay, so that's whisked up. You need to add about ½ teaspoon of salt to the flour. Mix it all in. And then you're going to create a little well in the middle of the flour to put the egg in. And you're just going to mix it all in with your fingers. It gets very, very sticky initially, but as you work the dough, it stops becoming sticky. You need 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and that's everything you need to make the dough. You just need to work it with your hands now. So you want to turn it out onto a floured surface and then just start kneading. The dough is very stiff, so it actually it's a good workout. You'll use some energy, lose some calories doing this. So once your dough is no longer sticky and quite firm, put it in a container and you want to let it rest for about 30 minutes. Okay, so now it's time to actually make the ravioli. You'll notice I've got a pasta making machine there. You can actually roll it out with a rolling pin, but the pasta machine makes things a lot easier and it's quicker. So you want to cut off a chunk of the dough, and you just want to run it through the pasta machine until you get the thickness you require to make ravioli. And that thickness is generally where you can see the outline of your hand through the actual pasta itself. basically works by setting it through stages, so you're just running it thinner and thinner each time. Initially, at the maximum thickness, you want to fold it over a couple of times, 3 or 4 times, before you actually start reducing the thickness. Okay, that's about the right thickness. I've got a little plastic device there which I made on a 3D printer. You don't need that, you can use cookie cutters just as easily. But I find it useful for making ravioli because you can lay your sheets over on top of it and then just put the filling in. So here I'm putting the filling in. You notice it's thickened up quite nicely. As I said before, the great thing about making your own ravioli is you can put in whatever you want, as long as it's no longer alive. So now we want to put a bit of water. This just seals the top layer, which will go on. So around the edges, just put some, not too much water, just a little bit of water to seal it. Right. And the way we seal it is to use a rolling pin. So just roll it up and down until you can see the framework underneath. And then the edges, the excess pasta will just fall off it. So now we're taking it out of the mould. Whoops, nearly dropped it. There you got your ravioli. Yay. Right, I'm not going to do any more. Okay, so the veggies are done. They've just come out of the oven, nicely caramelized. Now you're going to pop them all in the blender. Bit of garlic there, that was the one that got away. Pop him in also. Now we're going to puree these. And then we're going to put it through a strainer, get rid of all the seeds and skin and anything else that's in there. You'll probably have to put a bit of water in with this at some stage just to allow it to go through the strainer a bit easier. You will be putting it on the hob afterwards so you can get rid of some of that water. It just helps it go through the strainer. Okay, so there you've got your roasted vegetable sauce in a pot. I'm going to put it on a hob, heat it up. Just simmer it. Season it with salt and pepper. In the meanwhile, you're just boiling the water for the pasta. When it boils, it's a bit like mud pools that you'd find in Yellowstone or somewhere like that, somewhere volcanic. Right, time to put in the ravioli into the boiling water. You want to cook this for about 5 minutes. Fresh pasta doesn't take very long at all, so 5 minutes is plenty of time. If there's air in them, they'll start to puff up a bit. Hopefully they won't break the edges. It's always a good idea to try and get as much air out as possible when you're actually filling them and sealing them. Nala is back in the kitchen again. Starting to look old, that dog. She's 9 years old now. 45 kilograms of Akita. Anyway, she decided there's nothing in the kitchen for her, so off she goes. Alright, that's pretty much done. Ravioli's done. Turn everything off. And it's time to start serving up. So what you want to do is take your ravioli out of the pot of boiling water, drain it. Well, I use a slotted spoon just to get rid of the water, and then put it in with the sauce. Now you want to mix it up. Once everything's mixed together, serve it up. Again, I'll be showing my lack of skill when it comes to serving up. Get sauce everywhere, except for where it's supposed to be, in the bowls. It doesn't look like much. I suppose ravioli doesn't necessarily have very much aesthetic appeal. It's very nice. That filling is great. I don't think I've seen anyone else use that filling before with the Chorizo Sausage and Tomato and Marscapone Cheese. Makes a very good filling. Just a bit of an effort to cut down the chorizo into the small pieces you need to make the filling. And that's it. That's what you get. Well, if you made it to this point, then thank you. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I really would recommend trying it. It's not difficult, and you know, making your own pasta is has all sorts of connotations into what you can actually do with it. I mean, you can dry it out and make funny shapes and all sorts, but it makes a nice meal, and that ravioli with the filling is quite delicious actually. So if you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like button, and if you want to see notification of future videos coming out, then please subscribe. That would be very much appreciated, and it would help the channel to grow. Thank you very much, and hopefully see you next time. Bye.